Up next, he's a bassoonist, bike racer, dad, husband, and some other cool stuff that you're going to find out. Mark Hekman. Hello everyone, Chad Andrews here, the 33 Rule for Project Echelon, and we're lining up. Our Peloton is starting to fill up. First, we want to do some administrative work. We are having a grand fundo on March 19th, 2022, and the team launch for Project Echelon on the 18th of March. But without further ado, let's talk about our next interview. Is an old friend of mine, Mark Hekman. Mark, welcome to our little interview sessions, as we like to call them. We still don't have a name for them, but it's irrelevant. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. We call them the Chad Andrews sessions or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, like my think tanks. So tell us what's going on with you first. I mean, and then we'll sort of dive into the history of Winston-Salem cycling, et cetera.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, a lot is going on with me. Let's see. I have a bunch of kids. Got 3 girls right now. All in elementary school. Let's see, 4th, 2nd kindergarten. Got that going on. So that's a lot of fun. We're fostering a baby right now. I've been fostering for about 6 months. So we got a little boy in the house. His name's Kirk. Yeah, he's awesome. And so it's been a full family event these last couple of years. So it's been a lot of fun. Really doing the family thing is really my thing. After I quit bike racing or retired, depends who you ask. I went back to school for classical music and pursued that, and got a spot in the Greensboro Symphony. So I've been doing that, playing their whole seasons, which has been a lot of fun because we play in the Tanger Center now in downtown Greensboro and get some big acts in there and such. So that's been very rewarding. And there's a nice old photo right there. Yeah, flashback. Look at that V-neck. Wow.
What kind of instrument is that?
That's a bassoon, man. A bassoon. Yeah, the mighty bassoon. So it's been fun. And then I teach at High Point, teach a world music class at High Point. Been doing that for about 5 or 6 years. So basically just the family stuff, and then kind of piecing together a music career in a way, trying to at least. So it's been awesome.
Before we dig in, what's the difference? What is there any tangible relationship between being a bassoonist and a bike racer?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I did my dissertation on that, actually. Adapting training methods to musical performance, because you can go online and find all these training methods on running training methods, right? If you wanted to run a 5K, right, you go online and find like a million 5K training plans, right? Yep. But if you wanted to play a piece up on the bassoon and you wanted to know like what I should do every single day for how long, like that does not exist in the pedagogy. So I've been trying to kind of figure how to angle that. So yeah, there's so much. I mean, it's almost a direct parallel, actually. Even the personalities involved, the politics, the all that. It's the same thing. It's wild. So
would you have ever thought that?
Well, I would have to. No. I mean, if I hadn't been a bike racer, I wouldn't have known. I'd just been like, oh, this is how things are, right? But yeah, having that experience. And it really is all in the pursuit of that dream in a way, that goal, right? So if I hadn't really doubled down and really, started working with Andy back when I was a bike racer and realized how beneficial a training plan is to my fitness, I wouldn't have realized the power of like the human potential, what you can actually learn if you really focus on specific tasks and things like that. So
pretty cool. I mean, I've never thought it, but I mean, I
don't know if cool is the right word when you're talking about bassoon, but interesting.
Well, you made it cool with that photo with your Twitter.
Yeah.
Photo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Yeah.
You might rethink that one. Guess I think it's pretty cool. So
there's probably worse ones I'm sure there's worse photos of me on the internet. So let's see.
Well, I didn't dive that deep. All right.
Yeah.
Let's drill down into Winston-Salem. Do you live in Winston-Salem now?
I do. Yeah. Have been since 2005.
Is that when you moved to to Winston-Salem for bike racing?
Well, yeah. So 2005, I had graduated from the Ohio State University with my master's in Bassoon, and I had realized that I wanted to be a bike racer. I wasn't, I was still a Cat 1 at the time, but I had never really tried full on to become one. And I had an opportunity to house sit down north of Winston in Rural Hall. Had an opportunity for a winter, and so I came down here for the winter to train, and lo and behold, I enjoyed it and got a job part-time in a bike shop that gave me health insurance. And then I just started, let me race and do all that. And so it was really, everything just lined up, and I loved it here. And then I met my wife here, and we decided to make this our home. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Hey, tell me about 2005. Were you a Cat 1, Cat 2 back then? No, you must have been a Cat 1 when you moved here.
Yeah, I was a Cat 1 back then. Not really. I was just on a kind of a local Ohio team at that point, and I was the only one down here. Didn't really know anything. This is still, in my world, 2005 was still pre-internet for me. Still getting my information word of mouth and from back of Velo News. And so I didn't really know much about what was going on here at that time at all. But yeah, I kind of just, what's that?
Why the move from Ohio to?
Oh, because I got a job house sitting for a winter, so I could live for free. Yeah. So I was taking care of this. Yeah, I was taking care of this farm up in Rural Hall, 140-acre farm. I mean, just living on it because they needed someone to stay there. And so I did that. And it was supposed to be just for the winter. So it was like January 2005. Did that, and it was an awesome space. And then some of my Ohio friends would come down and ride with me, and then we started doing some doing some of the local races. I didn't really know much about the history of this area still at that point, and it just really was awesome time.
Who was your first pickup when you got here? Who was like, okay, this is the guy that knows, or the woman that knows the whole cycling scene here? I'm going to latch onto them.
Well, I was in a bike shop, so I was working in a bike shop, and so it was really, kind of word of mouth. But I'd have to say it is John Hamlin was the name that resonated all over. We didn't really hang out that much at that point, but I knew of him and knew that do what John does, follow, go to the races he's doing. He knew what was up and stuff, and so he was kind of the guy in town here that I knew. And then, through meeting John and everybody and doing some races, kind of ended up meeting Pat and Jamie and then Joe Carpasassi moved in down here later after that, and kind of just blossomed into this scene in a way. Although I guess the scene was happening before, I just didn't know about the scene, right? So.
And when you came down, who were you racing for? Cleveland or Massey, or who was it that you were racing for?
No, yeah. Well, it was basically the early days of, it was that year, it was called Savage Hill Cycling, which was Ohio, which then became Abercrombie and Fitch the following year, which then became Abercrombie and Fitch again with the Urban Camo in 2007, right? And then went on to become Inferno, in those
Inferno racing, that
program. So it's kind of all part of that family, so to speak.
At what point when you moved down here, you were like, oh wow, there's some legit dudes here that can ride their bike, and women. I mean, we talked with Emily Shields, and the women's scene is pretty with Grace Fleury.
Yeah, Grace was here. Yep.
Yep. So at what point did you go, okay, yeah, this is some legit dudes and women down here?
Well, yeah, the first couple of races, just going to Rock Hill, for example, was the first race I ever did in the Southeast. And before I moved down here, I hadn't done much NRC racing. I had gone out to Fitchburg, and did Altoona, in some of these things, but I hadn't really experienced Twilight yet. I hadn't done any of that. And so it really, it was Rock Hill. And then I went to Twilight that year for the first time, just by myself, and it was just, I was like, oh, this is where I belong, Yeah.
Next level, right?
Yeah.
Level.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. It was so exciting. And just, then Speed Week and like all that stuff. So
what about Carolina Cup and Haynes Park?
Yep, Carolina Cup, Haynes Park. Those were all iconic events. Yeah, I mean, all that.
What was your bet? I always ask this. What was your best result? Do you remember your best result Carolina Cup or Haynes Park?
You know, I only think I did to be honest, I think I only did Carolina Cup once in my whole life, because I think in a number of years I was injured at that time of year, because it was always in the fall,
September,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And so I think in 2 occasions or 3 occasions, I had broken bones by that point in the season.
My God.
And so I think I just remember Rich Harper waxing me in the sprint and laughing at me afterwards. So I'm sure it was, you know, Pat Phil.
Was that?
No, I'm teasing.
Not when
I'm
you
teasing.
guys were racing
I'm teasing
together.
Rich. I'm teasing. Not teasing.
He's not teasing, Rich. Did you like the evolution of it during that time frame? You know, I do think about Rich Harper. I think about Marco Eladia. I think about Jim Baldessari. I think about you. You know, and that now that I think about that, that's that Ohio contingent that kind of made its way into like Southeastern, infiltrated. The Buckeye State invades the Southeast.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, it kind of was how that all, I mean, it all happened kind of organically, right? We just all started racing, and then, you know, Rich obviously is a local down here, and met him, and then it just kind of all came together. But yeah, you know, what's funny is I raced with a lot of those guys again now on this Canberra presented by 5 and 20 Old Man Masters team. So everybody's coming back in a way. Me and Jim
You guys
Baldessari
put together a Masters team.
Oh yeah, you know it, man. Yeah.
For 2022. I was going to say, you look like you've shed some pounds, man. You're starting to get back into race shape, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, just, you know, just trying to look good for my for my family, you know, basically. No, after I quit bike racing, like whatever year that was, you know, in the school thing, and then having kids and buying a couple houses, moving a couple times, you know, in town, and kind of gets away from you. So what I did, you know, like this team started in 2020, spring of 2020. And so in winter of 2019 into 2020, I actually, you know, was like, oh, I'm trained outside all winter, lost about, you know, 30 pounds. And then, you know, COVID happened and nothing happened. So, but it got me off the couch.
It's amazing how everybody got COVID fit.
Yeah, it's funny. But I've been in this contest. We have like this, it's called the Streaker contest. How many days in a row can you ride outside? Just 10 miles. I'm in that currently right now. I started December 1st and we're still going. So, you know, this is all made by 10 miles a day. Yeah,
right. Hey, look, it starts with the fire, starts with the flicker, and then it becomes a flame.
Yeah. Just got to get off that damn couch, man.
I know, right? I'm making sure I'm part of the streaker route too. I don't know if it's been every day, but I've been getting out on the bike, whether it's 15 miles urban rides or whatever. But okay, let's what was the outside of your wife, but what was that draw, that thing that's like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here and race my bike and then have my career kind of go on top of that.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's Winston-Salem's just amazing. I mean, you know, there's no traffic, houses are cheap, there's jobs, there's a lot, you know, there's orchestras here, there's so much to offer here. Wonderful riding right outside of town. Like it's the whole package for, you know, great place to raise a family. All that kind of is evident when you move down here. So that it all kind of happened organically. You know, just was enjoying my time, was at this shop that gave me health insurance, which was so crucial back in the day when I was bike racing, right? And flexible enough to let me ride. So I just had no reason to leave, really. You know, there's a good social scene here, have friends here. And so it just really just became home, you know, which was, speaks a lot about the Southern hospitality, I think, and the people in this area too, that they would welcome a Yankee.
I don't know if Ohioans are really hanging.
Well, see, I'm from Michigan, you realize, right? And so it's just, I'm torn. I
still don't consider Michigan a northerner. I don't know why. I think somebody from Maine or Vermont. Michigan's like
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's go into you started racing a little bit. You had some success. At what point did you go, okay, me and my crew are ready to take this to the NRC? Back then it was the NRC level.
Yeah. Well, it was, I'm trying to think. So like that first season I was here, I was essentially on my own because nobody else was really coming down to do the races in 2005. And I was just like I drove to some of the speed week races. I just did it on my own, the ones that were drivable. Just would show up and race by myself. My bike shop gave me a bike to ride on. And I just did that. And then, so then the following year, that's when Abercrombie and Fitch started. And it really, that's when, I think Rich came on. I don't know if Rich was on board that first year or not, but people started moving to the area or staying in the Southeast, and really there was a little bit more support and people to travel with. And then, we'd go down to Athens and hang out there for a while. And Jared Gruber, the famous photographer, world famous photographer, was in the area at that time, and he was on Abercrombie and Fitch, and like a lot of old time. Jacob Fetty was on, was around at that time, and we just started hitting all the races that we could drive to, and what was your really kind of snowballed into the following year, which then we started being competitive actually, and then the rest is kind of history, I guess.
Do you remember that first year when you were racing by yourself in the Southeast? Do you remember a result that you go, all right, I think I can figure this sport out? Because when you first start crit racing and you do the USA Crit Series or the Speed Week Series or whatever, it's, everybody that I've ever interviewed, and, because I've never been able to race it, I've always been commentating it. They said there's just like this one thing where you either get it or you don't, kind of like going to Europe. You either get it or you don't.
Yeah, well, for me, it was the first time at Athens. I'd never even been to the city of Athens. I went there by myself, drove myself down there for the bike race. I remember my car broke down on the way there, like right in town. And so I had to go back to town, and I borrowed a car from somebody to drive down there. And it was 2005, it was raining. It was dark. I'm like, what the heck am I doing right here? Had never done one of these. I mean, I had done some NRC crits within a stage race format before, but never, the Athens Twilight. And I think I ended up, started at the very back, but I think I got in the money. And then I was like, oh, I can do this. Yeah.
I think if I recall correctly, that's the year that Vasily won. If I remember correctly, that's the year that Vasily for Navigators won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so being able to be in the money from there, it was just like a huge confirmation that I was on the right path in a way, I think, for me. And so it was, it was that moment. And then, just the crowd, even when it was raining there, was just incredible, all this stuff. It was quite the moment for me. And, I just did that. I was by myself. I didn't even know a soul in town or anybody at the race. So it's just kind of something that I did for myself. I wasn't trying to, wasn't doing it for anybody. So it was kind of a natural, authentic experience, which was really rewarding.
All right. Well, then let's talk rewarding. Explain this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is, that.
Tell us about it. What are we looking at right here?
Just everything, man. Like relief. See, I'm even getting emotional thinking about it.
Oh, that's awesome.
The weight of the world off my shoulders in a way. I don't know. It's just, that is the realization of a literal childhood dream. Like, growing up, reading Velo News, hearing about Athens Twilight, and then showing up and actually winning it. It was a big moment.
Well, while you
Sorry.
No, dude, man, nostalgia is just what makes this sport so great. Let me tell you guys a little bit about kind of what happened here, because it was truly one of the most unique and diverse Athens Twilights that I've ever commentated. And being somebody from Winston-Salem, there were so many crashes and it was so chaotic. And I usually pride myself on nailing who won the race. And it came down to you and Josh Thornton of Kodak Gallery, Sierra Nevada. And you guys had crossed the line after lapping the field. And I was like, you both looked up at me and I looked down at you two and we all three went, I got nothing. No idea.
I had no clue. I had no clue. And then Josh was like, I think you won, man. I was like, no way. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy even to think about. on so many levels. But yeah, it was in a way that has freed up my life to such a degree. Like, you know, if you check off this big bucket item off your list, like the pressure's off, like you can just, I was able, allowed me to walk away from the sport. It really was a special day.
It was. It was palpable. I mean, everybody could feel it. The celebration. A little. I just noticed this in the photo. There's a little photo bomb from Joe Silva in the background. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
on
awesome.
The left. Well, there's the crew.
Yeah, and you know, to share it with my friends too, right? Like we were all friends. It wasn't like we were like this, you know, team put together. It was just a bunch of dudes that lived close together that were all together. And so to share it with them and to have them help, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Here is one of the most astonishing things out of the whole entire weekend that I remember. The next day I saw you in Roswell, I was asking you guys how much fun you had that night. And I think that's going to be the one single regret that you guys will always have, that you guys told me, quote, we're professional bike racers now and we're not going to go out and party. And I was like, could you say that one more time for me so that I understand exactly what you just said?
I know. I can't even know what we were thinking, man. I mean, it was just,
one win took you
the one time, right? Carry that trophy in the bar, you know, downtown, you know, I mean, and Marco was, you know, all of us, you know, like,
and you guys
shameful.
Down
it's shameful. You should get the win. You should get disqualified for that, actually, I think.
Yeah, I think that's part of the lore of Athens, Twilight, or any of the Southeastern races for that matter, even in Greensboro and Winston-Salem. If you don't go out and play after winning races like that, because that's what they were known for. I mean, you know, for those of you who don't understand really the national level criterium racing, it's sleep till 10, go do an easy ride, eat lunch, put your feet up, ride to the race at 7 o'clock, race at 9 o'clock, rinse and repeat. But the waking up later in the morning afforded you guys the ability to go out and have a couple of adult beverages. And when you guys told me that in Athens, after winning Athens, it just kind of was like, I swear I didn't hear it right. And it's funny.
Well, you know, I made up for that every single year after that, though, just for the record. You know, once I actually became a pro, then, you know, then we would go out all the time.
And then you ended up didn't you win the series that year, the Speed Week series?
Yeah, I won that. Yeah, I think a couple of years, or maybe even at least 2 years. Yeah, I won that a couple of times. I think 3 times maybe, actually, in a row. But I might be wrong. 3 times in a row. Impressive. Yeah, because I think next year was Toshiba, and I'd have to. It's all a blur. And then I think Network, Mountain Khakis, I think 1 year too.
Mountain Khakis. Wow. Okay. Yeah, those teams have been tossed around. Toshiba Jet Network, we haven't. This is the first time we've actually mentioned them, but they're Athens based.
Yeah. Also a very, I mean,
that team
huge part of my life. I am, you know, owed to that team for, you know, that got me out of the country for the first time, got to see so many experiences, and it was really a very awesome experience as well. So for Ravi Rajkumar is listening to this, thank you, brother. Yeah,
Ravi and Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Yep. I think Chris. All those Florida guys, Frank. Miami guys. Yeah, but then, you know,
all the Serbians.
It was. Yeah, and those are the guys that helped me. You know, Frank and Yosvati, they helped me get third at that U.S. Pro Crit at the end of the season that year too. So that was really a rewarding experience. I think it was third. I'd have to check.
Yeah, that's all a blur for me.
In Downers Grove. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Downers Grove.
Yeah.
Forgot about Nationals being there. So after that win and after that season, was there a point when you were like, okay, it's time for me to hang up my cleats because I've achieved what I wanted to? At what point did you go, or do you feel like you got out at the right time and then formulated, that's such a terrible word. You had a family, job, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What was that point where you were just like, you know what? I think it's time.
Well, you know, that after that year when I was in Abercrombie and we won Twilight, you know, technically we weren't pro yet. And that was kind of another thing I wanted to check off my list. And so after I became quote unquote, that for whatever reason, I don't know, it's just a piece of paper, right? It means nothing because we all do the same races. For me, that was kind of an important step that I wanted to create or to experience. And then once that happened, then you start to realize like how much time you spend on the road, and how much time you're in host housing, and how much little you're getting paid. And, the novelty can kind of wear off a little bit in a way. And then, I started dating my wife, and then you realize how much time away isn't that much fun when you're trying to have a family back home, and just the risk, the reward, the injuries, the broken bones, all that, it starts to add up. And then the waiting around all day to race at 9 p.m. at night it's just brutal, and then not being able to sleep afterwards, and it's just it's a sport, it's a lifestyle for younger people, I feel like. And since I was so late to the game, in 2005, I probably would have been close to 30 already. Like 28. I was born in 78. And so I think I was like 29 when I won Twilight, which is very old, so I was kind of a late bloomer just because I had always gone to school and stuff, like that. So, but what really was the icing on the cake is there was this position open for a grad assistant in bassoon, which only opens up every certain number of years at UNC Greensboro. And so it was either jump off now and pursue the bassoon, or wait another 3 years. And I didn't really have another 3 years left, I didn't think, at that point. So I was super content. Again, it comes down to having those good experiences and being able to, it gives me a peace of mind to be able to just kind of do my own thing and walk away when I needed to.
So we'll kind of tie this whole thing together. I know that you are, you're still instrumental in the cycling scene in Winston-Salem. And if you had something to tell one of John Hamblin's juniors, because John's running a junior team, what piece of advice? Because they're all going to be like, they see photos of you and John and, and everybody on the teams that you guys were in before, and the whole legacy of Winston-Salem cycling from Ken Putnam all the way down to Ian Jackson and beyond. What would be the one thing that you would tell them? Or is it impossible to say one thing?
Well, I think it's a different game now too, a little bit, right? With the social media end of everything and all, it's slightly different than when I was doing it. But the only piece of advice I'd give to any up and coming athlete is just have fun with it.
Have fun.
Period. Yeah.
Did you feel like at times you weren't having fun?
No, I think I had fun most of the time.
A lot of bike racers can't say that.
No, it's fun. I mean, we kept it fun. I mean, that's, it's what else is the point? We're not getting rich off this. There's tough moments, obviously, right? It's not all fun. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot, a lot going on. But if for young kids, I just have fun with it. I mean, that's all I could ever tell anybody. That's what my parents used to just tell me, and just have fun with it. Don't worry about it.
Is that the life lessons you've pulled from it? That you had fun and just have fun?
Well, I have pulled a lot of life lessons from it. The big life lesson for me, is to have fun, be a good person, be kind. All those things I think really ended up working out. It just can only help you in the end. You don't need to be a mean guy in the peloton. Be a nice guy. I mean, it's just kind of, I think it's not a lesson just for cycling, but for life in general. But one of the lessons I did pull was what I was talking about earlier, when I started working with a coach instead of just, I used to just go ride whenever I felt like it, ride how I felt, and hope that I was in shape when I needed to race. But working with a coach towards a specific events and really doing specific workouts really was it really freed up my mind. I didn't have to worry like, oh, should I ride more? Should I ride less? It was just, you look on your schedule, you just go do it. It was such a life-changing experience for me to have that. And I didn't even know I was missing before. That is really a huge lesson, and in a way, it just allows for this, it allows you just to kind of focus on the workout without second guessing yourself, which makes it way more fun too.
You hear that, kids? Winner of Athens Twilight, Mark Hekman says, get a coach. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
last
seriously,
question.
yeah.
Last question before I let you go.
All right.
Let's flash forward about a month or so, and it's the 19th, and we're doing the Fundo, and I'm sure you're going to be there. You've got Jamie Bennett. He says he's not going to be in shape. You've got Eric Saunders. He's not going to be in shape. We've got.
Oh, is Saunders coming? Is Saunders coming?
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
So, and we've got Joe Carpenter. So we've got all these names, John Hamblin, all these guys are going to be showing up, and women are going to be showing up, and nobody's going to be fit.
Right.
Lie or not a lie?
Oh, no one's in shape. Are you kidding me? These guys don't care. No. I mean, John's always in shape. John's always in shape. Joe will be in shape too a little bit. I mean, Joe's, those guys are always kind of fit. But no, I mean, no one cares. No one cares about being in shape.
I'm just making sure. I want to know
that's my gist. Yeah.
I want to get what I'm getting myself into. I don't want
the real contest will be after the Fundo. I think that's when the training really comes into play. I think.
Yeah, I think Eric Saunders is already training for that. So.
Yeah. Well, I think we all are. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, Mark, thanks so much for joining us. We certainly do appreciate it. Just to go take a stroll down memory lane is super cool. And, you obviously being an integral part of, the Ohio contingent that, affected how Winston-Salem cycling was formed and kind of creased and adopted. So I certainly appreciate the time that you took today.
Thanks, Jazz. Nice seeing you again, man. We should hang out. Well, I'll see you at the Fundo, I guess.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We're going to hang out. We're going to hang out.
Are you going to ride? Are you riding or are you going to announce?
Yeah, no, I'm going to, it's going to be casual. So yeah, I'm going to announce and then get on the bike and go do the lake loop like once or twice and then put it up. So we'll hang on for a minute. All right, guys. Want to thank Mark Hekman for joining us. Don't forget, Grand Fundo is on March 19th and team launch March 18th of this 2022. Again, Mark, thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you, Chad.
As the famous Jim Valvano would say, every day you should laugh and you should cry. That was a killer interview. Up next, John Hamblin.